Howdy, howdy. Welcome back. It's that time again, Workshop Wednesday, and this is the first workshop of the month, which means it's a What's New edition. And that means we're going to go back over the last 30 days or so, in this case, May of 2022, and we're going to take a look at all the new features and updates that happened to GA4, Data Studio, and a ton more. Before we go too far into this, welcome. If this is your first Workshop Wednesday, my name is Chris Mercer. Everybody calls me Mercer. You should as well. It is truly what I use as a name is Mercer. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. Co-founder over at measurementmarketing.io. And whether you found us through our podcast and talks we're out there giving, maybe you are already a member of some other platforms and you've seen our training back with some of these other platforms. We do share some of our training with them. Maybe you are already a measurementmarketing.io member over at perhaps the Measurement Marketing Academy, which I'll show you in just a second. That is, of course, our flagship training program, and that is where we have all of our measurement training, not just particular courses about particular tools, but about the strategy. So it's like, yes, and you get to learn all about GA4, Tag Manager, Data Studio, and you learn how to, actually measure. It's a pretty cool platform, if I do say so myself. Of course, it's our job to help people just like you learn how to use all of these tools and specifically use them to improve your digital measurement. How do we do that? Of course, we mentioned this already, the Measurement Marketing Academy. It's our just-in-time learning platform. Heavily encourage you to take a look at that if you have not done so already. Its job is to help you get through the measurement marketing framework. More on that in just a minute. Now, with all of our training, we always request that you focus on one new thing because it's so easy to get overwhelmed and frustrated by all the changes that are going on, especially now. This is just what it's going to be like, especially with tools like Google Analytics 4. But you'll see in today's workshop different techniques, different things that you can use in GA4. Practice that. If you like it, practice it. Make it a skill that you now have. Then you come back, rewatch this workshop, pick up another new one thing, and then take it from there. That's how you build skills without getting overwhelmed. All right, let's go ahead and officially get this on the road. What's new? May 2022. I'm going to try that again. Wow, this is the part that gets edited out, and this is why it's good that you're here live. You get to hear all that mess up. All right, try this again. What's new? May 2022 updates. New features and updates to GA4, Tag Manager, Data Studio, and more. You're going to hear them all. Now we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Of course, we always start with the framework. Remember, plan, build, and launch. The reason we cover this framework is because it's going to put today's training in context. Now, the framework basically is assuming that you're all marketing in the blind. I know I was when I was first starting out. And the goal is to use a system that reliably produces revenue and profits, right? So how do we do that? Well, of course, we plan. How do we do planning, though? It's not planning that matters. It's how you plan. First, we make sure we're asking questions. Second, we gather the information, the behaviors needed to answer those questions. And then third, we already role play what actions we're going to take based upon the answers we get. Then we move into the build. This is where you make sure your platforms like Google Analytics 4 understand what results you're trying to get. They know where the traffic is coming from, and they are what we call setup. So they're telling a story between which traffic sources are causing which results. Then all you got to do is launch your measurement system. You lean back and you listen to the trends and patterns that are happening back there. In other words, the conversation that's happening between your website and the users. Then we forecast. Now that we know our trends and patterns, we can start to forecast how the future should look. And then we measure against our forecasts. That is how you know what's working and what's not. And so you can actually focus your resources, because we all have limited resources. That's the step where you focus your resources to actually move the needle. All right, with that is the measurement marketing framework in a nutshell. Now, today's guest instructor, returning champion, Julie Brade. She's our lead instructor over at measurementmarketing.io, has been teaching this forever at this point. She's an account manager for a dedicated management client. She's a Data Studio rock star. She's back in Ask an Instructor support. Those of you who are Academy members already are very familiar with Julie and the instructor team. Just absolutely amazing. And she's in these tools every day. So she's seen the changes. She's practiced the changes. She's about to show you the changes. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, Julie Brade.
Thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and get started with what's new in May 2022. Let's start with Google Analytics. And of course, we're jumping straight into Google Analytics 4. And there actually was a little bit of an update on that didn't actually make any of the reporting or the documentation. So we're going to go to acquisition and user acquisition. This is one of the easiest places to see this little Easter egg of a change. And it makes me hopeful, makes all of us hopeful that maybe there are some other changes headed our way. So if we click on our little plus button, kind of how we used to do add a secondary dimension in Universal Analytics, and then we're going to choose page screens, and you see this, it now says landing page, meaning it used to say entrances. So that's the big change. When Google Analytics 4 came out, there was not landing pages. It was always entrances. They were the exact same thing, logically, the first page that the user started on, but now it looks like they're going back to the old verbiage of landing page. It's kind of something that we're all used to in measurement, understanding, hey, landing page means that's the page they started on. So it looks like they're changing the verbiage. This only happened about 2 weeks ago, and obviously today is June 1st. And so we don't know if there are other ones back here that we just haven't realized, because like I said, there's no documentation saying that they made this change. So maybe they're going to make some more changes, and then it's going to come out in a few weeks and saying, hey, here's all the changes that you're going to see. So just kind of note that you might see something in here one way, and then next week you're going to see it in a different way. So just be aware that they're constantly evolving and changing, and it may not be documentation. So if you see something, let us know, because we'll be glad to put it on our next What's New so we can let everyone else know. So what was actually documented yesterday, it kind of came through at the very last moment. If you go to configure and then we go to audiences, this is basically what the update is you're now able to have dynamic audience. I'm going to make sure I use this in the dynamic lookbacks in audience or analytics audience. I want to say that one more time to make sure I get it all right. Dynamic lookback in analytics audiences. So what does that mean? Well, if you go to new audience, and then we're going to choose create a custom audience first. And then if we are using an event, which technically everything's an event, but in this case we want to make sure that we're using something very specific. If we want to use an event of those that are Academy aware, and then we can choose it, say add a parameter, and our options are a custom parameter, because this is kind of what comes through with those parameters that we have. And then here's what we're actually looking for: event count, even though it's technically not a parameter, but it's an account, a count of this. So we want to choose this. And so what this is used for, or what can be used for, is when a user, because when a user completes this event, so this is Academy aware, meaning they're aware of the Academy offer, and when it happens more than a certain amount of time, so we're going to say in this case 2 times, and we're going to change the time period, and we're going to say within 7 days. The max you can actually choose is, as of right now, as of this recording, is 60 days. But maybe we want to choose 7 days. I don't know. That's what we just want to choose. And then obviously you can choose most recent time period, or you can choose any point in time. We're going to press apply. So what is this, and what could you use this for? All of you that are in ads are probably jumping up and down and really excited, because you realize that you can create different audiences for, maybe if you have an e-com store and you have different product pages or product page views, and you could say, okay, I want to know, let's say when an event of product page view happens 4 times, and they don't purchase, because you can add a group to say they, conditions exclude when they purchase ABC. There it is. So you can exclude those that purchase, and so that's one way to do that. It even tells you we're including this, we're excluding this in this particular instance in this time frame. And so I'm going to get rid of that because we don't actually need that one. But you're able to be really specific with your audience, so you can make sure that you're talking to the right person. And I think for those that are have sites where people will come back quite often, like for instance, e-com site, or maybe a blog site, especially a blog site where there's a lot of content that people are viewing, and maybe they haven't opted in, or maybe they haven't purchased or anything like that, you would be able to have some sort of engagement. Maybe like we have our eyes on the journey impression and all of our eyes on the journey, maybe you can say, hey, if they were interested or introduced or something, whatever it is, and you can adjust your count, like maybe that you want to know if they did 5 times over 60 days, then you want to make that as part of your audience. So there's lots and lots and lots of options here. Pro tip for you is to come in here with a question. So, I'm coming in here just poking around, and I'm going to kind of stumble around and maybe not see everything that I am able to see. If you come in here with an actual question, like maybe you want to say, I want to know if people that are introduced and have the event of investigated. In our case, investigated means they actually saw a call to action, a pricing table or something. And so we want to know, did they do these two things in this order or whatever it is? You can add a step or investigated, and technically these are people that have been introduced, and then we are adding in sequences. They did something in a very specific order. And so we could add that. So I come in here with a question, a very specific question, so that I can get my answers, and it's going to guide you of how to use this tool a little bit better, as opposed to just coming here and poking around. Poking around is great, but you're going to learn more if you're coming here to answer a very specific question. Another pro tip, and it's kind of something funny that we have started saying, and it's for all of Google Analytics 4, and we're actually going back all the way out of here, because what we've been saying with Google Analytics 4, and obviously do this on your own site, is go in here and try to break something. And by breaking something, you're going to have to learn how to fix it. And by learning how to fix it, you're going to kind of learn the machine a little bit better, and you're going to be able to level up your skills over and over and over again. So it could be just come in here, try to break something. For instance, there's another hack that we actually showed on a previous workshop. We're going to come in here to acquisition. We're going to go to traffic acquisition. And maybe you want to go see the old school source medium report. And as you can see here, there is not a source medium. We try to go to here, we don't see, we see session medium, session source, we don't have it here. And by coming in here and try to play with things, you're going to, see how you're not able to do it the way you want to. You can then come over here to a customized report. I want to show you the hack how to do it. And again, the way you figure these things out is by coming here and asking a specific question, and then coming back and breaking it so you can come back and fix it. So we're going to click on dimensions, and we're going to click on the plus button to add one, and we're going to scroll down to source medium here, and we're going to go ahead and apply. And then obviously we could save our changes too, but now we have source medium here, and now we have our source medium report, and we can change our events and all that other fun stuff. I'm going to give it a moment to change, and here it goes. There it is. So now we have our source medium report there. Another great hack is using campaign first, because it could help answer more questions. But again, that was on a previous workshop, so I'm not going to go too far into all of that. But just again, using Google Analytics 4, to level up your skills, go in there and ask very specific questions for yourself. All right, so that was Google Analytics updates. Tag Manager, there actually wasn't anything in the month of May. However, in Data Studio, we do have something, and it's very simple with our pivot tables. So right here with our pivot tables, fun fact, I actually got started in my entire career doing dashboards and reports with pivot tables, so something I am very familiar with, but not inside Data Studio, it's inside other platforms. So if we have our pivot table, we are now in our edit mode, so we can see our data and style tabs. Our new feature here is by selecting optional metrics. And I'm going to give you a warning, this has been really wonky for me as I'm testing this out. It actually only came out a few days ago, so it might still be kind of working through some kinks, or they might be coming up with some more features, and it's just acting wonky for me today. So what we're seeing is if I go into view mode, I can then click on here, I can see our optional metrics, and I can choose Academy Aware. The thing that I'm noticing is depending on what metric you have here, if I choose this, it's going to basically clear out the data. So even if I choose metrics that do belong together, because as you know, with even with universal analytics, there's certain metrics that can work together and certain ones that don't. So just know it's behaving a little bit wonky. So right now you have to have them both checked for you to see both numbers. But I suppose at probably as more time goes on, that's not going to be an issue anymore. So just kind of know for now, just leave them both checked. And you'll be good to go. All right, now moving on to Google Optimize. There hasn't been anything else with Google Optimize, but as we mentioned in the past, we suspect that as Google Analytics 4 gets more and more ready to be completed and done, Google Optimize is going to have to address that so that we can use Google Analytics 4 to see our testing options. So what is new in the Measurement Marketing Academy? We actually updated Win Google Tag Manager server side. So there was quite a few changes that happened inside that platform over the past year. And for those of you that are wanting to know if server side is right for you, there is an updated course that tells you exactly that. And if it's right for you, if all the different pros and cons, if you should be using it or not. And it's a great way to figure out if that's something you should be using for yourself, your clients, and go through that. All right, and then coming soon in the Measurement Marketing Academy, we have some more updates and some new courses. So in June, we are going to have Win Google Search Console updated. Lots of new changes for that one as well, obviously with all the privacy changes and all of that, GA4 changes, and some fun surprises for you in terms of reporting and how to actually take action on all that data that you're getting. And then in July, Win regular expressions. And so obviously regular expressions doesn't change because it's all the symbols and stuff and it's very logical. But we are going to make sure that you understand how to use it inside all the different platforms. So it's going to be broken up into a really easy way to say, how do I use it in Analytics? How do I use it in Tag Manager? How do I use it in Data Studio? How do I use it maybe in BigQuery or any other platform? And so you're going to really understand how to level up your skills by using regular expressions in all those platforms. Also, mark your calendar and stay tuned. We are going to have a boot camp at the very end of June of migrating from Universal Analytics to GA4. Mercer can tell you more about that here in a moment, but it will be live classes that you can attend or have recordings to, Slack channel, all kind of stuff, great accountability, lots of opportunities to ask questions and make sure that you get the answers that you need to for that. So that is what's new and all for May 2022. Back to you, Mercer.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Julie Brade. Again, those of you who are in the Academy already are very familiar with Julie. She's in the Ask Instructor support system. So if you have any questions there, you can just go to the Ask Instructor support system, send over your videos and screenshots. Julie will answer you back, or one of the other instructors will, with videos and screenshots as well. It's kind of our claim to fame. So you get all the courses of Google Analytics 4 and Tag Manager, everything else that's in the Academy, plus Ask Instructor support, plus the workshops, plus the community. Plus, there's a lot back there. All right, I'll get to that in just a second. So thank you again for that, Julie. What was your one thing? You know, maybe you have I know for me personally, I think the integration that's happening between GA4 and Google Ads is gonna be amazing. Because remember, we're entering a world where there's less data that you can measure each and every day, practically. And so the data that you can measure has to be much higher quality. So you can feed that to the platforms like Google Ads so that its algorithms have better quality data set to produce better quality results for you. That audience builder, those enhancements that Julie was showing you just a few minutes ago, hands down is absolutely telling you that's the direction that things are going. And to have that sort of control is really, really cool. So I'm really, really interested. If you're using Google Ads at all, man, GA4 is going to be a game changer for you. Now, where it fits in the framework, of course, is results, right? Like you can actually define results a little bit better. It helps you optimize your Google Ads as you're coming through. The other thing is in terms of story and finding your trends and patterns, little things that they're doing in GA4, like the changing entrances to landing page, which makes a lot more sense. And again, just to emphasize, I know there's a lot of frustration with GA4. I'm with you. We're all with you at MeasureMarketing.io. We all feel your frustrations with GA4. However, Google This is how Google works. They've done this over and over and over and over and over again. This is just the process. I know it's frustrating when you're kind of watching all of this stuff unfold, but this is the process. So have faith, because they did this with Tag Manager. It was clunky. It was super engineering. And then finally, they revised it when user interface was a concern. Like after they get done the structural stuff, then the user interface team comes in and they name it normal looking things, right? Like that's what's happening right now with GA4. I would expect personally, again, I don't know anything from the inside. I am just expecting that based on trends and patterns of what they've done before and sort of how Google operates over the next year, which over the next 6 months of 2022, you're going to see radical improvements in the reporting of GA4. Even things like name changes, things that they're making available, like the audience reports and how they're building that stuff is what's going to really unlock the power of GA4. Now is the time that you should be learning it and taking courses, whether ours or someone else's. I get maybe for whatever reason, we may not be for everybody, but if you want robust courses, definitely take a look at the Academy, because we have those back there as well. I want to emphasize that. Some people think our courses are little micro courses. They are not. They are all full courses over all of the platforms. All right. Speaking of content, next week's workshop is getting started. So it's more for the beginners, and we're going to talk about the process of migrating, basically. So how do you get from Universal Analytics, where you have an existing UA account, to, okay, I got to create this GA4 account, and how do I think about the migration and stair step it and process it so I get everything covered, right? So we're going to talk about the steps to migrate. Again, general steps. We're not clearly going to do a full migration from one to the other, because we won't have time for that in the workshop, but to think about it and to plan for it and to make sure that you're doing it right. So that's what we're going to talk about, migrating and moving from Google Analytics to GA4. To be prepared. If you want that workshop, all you need to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Again, we are well over 4,000 subscribers at this point, so thank you very much. We are now, what's the new goal? Let's say 4,500. Go team. Let's take us to 4,500. Thank you all for the comments, by the way. Again, we're not able to answer every single one back there because we do really focus our support on our existing Measurement Marketing Academy members, and that's really where we focus our support from there. But we do read the comments. We take the suggestions. So if you have comments on updates to certain workshops, we're doing those. Like we're going to be doing coming up relatively soon. We're going to be doing a new GA4 e-commerce update because our 2021 is wildly popular, but it was 2021. So let's update it for 2022. So we'll be doing that later this year, just as an example. But leave comments in there. Let us know kind of what you like, what could be improved. We're fine with that too. We're all here to help each other, and this is a great way to do that on YouTube. So thank you for those who are currently doing that. The other way, of course, that you can have access to our content, we do have a free level of the membership. So if you have not already taken advantage of that, I would definitely recommend that. Obviously, I'm biased, but you get it. We have the Measurement Marketing Toolbox. It's completely free. It includes the most recent Workshop Wednesday that's already back there on the platform. And of course, you always have the YouTube channel for the previous ones. But you also have tools. So sometimes, and it wasn't today, but sometimes you will see tools referenced here that we talk about. Those tools are all available for free in our membership. So that's what's back there. Traffic Tracking Toolkit, the Optimizing, the Split Test Pipeline Planner, the Forecast Revenue Planner, ACE goals, learning how to do the ACE system. There's so much stuff. There's a whole regex guide for those of you that know regex or want to get better at that. There's lots of tools that are back there that we have created. I think over 40 tools now exclusively for our members, and that includes you if you want it. The Measurement Marketing Toolbox, it is completely free. Just go to measure.tips/WW. You're going to enter your name and your email. It'll create the login, send you the password, and you're off to the races. The only thing I ask personally is that you use it. If you're not using the membership, you will get an email within about 90 days or so that says, hey, we haven't seen you in there. If you're not using it, that's fine. We'll shut down things for you. It just saves resources on our end. And if we are able to help you out, great. If you like it and you want to keep it, just use it. And, if you do see that email, just log back in and, take a look at it, see what's back there. As long as you're active, we don't care. It's yours for free for as long as you want it. Just use it. Now, if you want more, which I hope that you do, if your organization needs more, whether it's your company paying for it or you paying for it, if you're the owner of the company or control the marketing budget, join the Measurement Marketing Academy. And let's just, this platform, it is a just-in-time learning platform. It has so many courses. All things around digital measurement are back there. Google Analytics, including Universal, and of course, Google Analytics 4. And when I say courses, I mean full courses. The same courses you see others offering for $500 or $600. That's just one of our courses back there. We have everything that they have. We do break it out where there might be a beginner's version. And like with the Universal Analytics, there was the Google Analytics setup was an entire course. The basics of using Google Analytics was an entire course. Google Analytics Beyond Basics was an entire course. And we've done that with Tag Manager. There's Tag Manager Basics, and then there's Tag Manager Beyond Basics. So everything that you want back there. Julie mentioned earlier, we just updated Google Tag Manager server side. Next, I guess in a week or two, Search Console is coming out with the update for 2022, right? So there's always new courses, and we teach those live, by the way. So our Academy members, as an Academy member, you're able to join the live training, so you can actually ask the instructor right then and there any questions you have, and then we edit them down, of course, for the student editions. So the Academy is a really robust place to learn anything relating to digital measurement to get you up and on the way, and it covers some advanced stuff too. We help you to future-proof with tools like Google BigQuery for those that need that. So while you may not have, super complicated stuff, maybe at a point you've outgrown the Academy. But man, we're going to handle 95% of what you need to dramatically improve the results from what you're currently getting with your own measurement efforts. So please, if you haven't already, consider joining the Measurement Marketing Academy. To do that, go to measure.tips/getacademy. You will see the most current offers that are back there now. Again, measure.tips/getacademy. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. This has been What's New? May 2022 updates and features, including the latest to Google Analytics 4, Data Studio, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Thanks again for watching this workshop, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.